Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of about planes. And we're going to be looking into a fuselage of a plane for this video. And a fuselage of a plane is basically the main body. Now I just oops. So basically, this is a plane. Okay, I got a drawing. I wish this recording device could actually add a mirror tool. So the parts that are shaded light green is the fuselage. The wings we've been talking well, it's going to do for future videos. So right here's where all the seats and all sorts of things are. And we're also going to go into detail how an emergency exit works. So let's do that right now. My mistake. So this will be a Boeing 737 exit. Or it will be a Boeing exit. I'm not going to draw the window, but this arm thingy-majig, as we'll call it, which if you rotate it into the yellow position, and then and then if you just do this, oh my god. So if you see, okay. So if you see over right here, the green part is where it actually is, the yellow part is where it needs to get to. As soon as I flip the yellow part, like the doors now are locked, and then it'll open. We'll talk about open action later, but yeah. And so as it basically as it rotates over, because the plane, you want it to be so that it doesn't lose a single atom of air in the sky, which is actually possible because even if there's doors, so let's just say that this is our door. It's going to be a little thick. That is the door. And now the parts that are in a thicker version of blue, here is like another edge. Okay. Like that. So basically, if you see, so there'll be like these two parts sticking out, and on the car door you can see how there's this black rubber band thingamajig, which is the airlock. Cause you know if this, so if the blue part is the door, and the yellow part is the cabin, usually the gap will be very small. Usually the gap will be very, very small. That is how small the gap is. So I'll mute myself. So I'll mute myself and stop my video so that you can take a look at this moment. Give you 10 seconds to do so, and starting from now. Okay, so now that we're back, you can see that this you can see that there's a very small gap in the middle that's white. And then if this was to rub, because if the two metals actually collide, because like if the two metals actually collide, like it's just impossible to make the air actually stick together if you don't have these two things actually sealing the air. So let's just say that it's rubber. Okay, jump into this. So this rubber you see, if I okay, I'm gonna go for has. If you do this to has, make sure that there's only one top gap. Place it into the water like downwards, or you could do it like this. You can see how like the air comes out from the bottom, so the skin is made out somewhat like rubber and it's waterproof. Also, there'll be a lot of friction between here, which could potentially damage the metal if it was to be airproof. Okay, now let's do the same with rubber. Gosh, I need to zoom in to do this. Too bad this thing doesn't. You can see how there's about a nanometer of it there. Unfortunately, I didn't get it precisely, so this should do for now. So this it means that the airflow is blocked. So some of the modern classrooms at schools usually have an airlock, which helps like keep the air conditioning in, like the cold air in. And these days, for your house, you usually wouldn't have it like a total airlock, so it still would actually lose heat, even if it seems to have a 5-star insulation. So I can say there's a pixel right there. Okay, anyways, back to the topic. This is like how the door works. Now let's get back to another type of door, which I'll show you in a moment. Okay, so that was a few unbearable hours just to get this done. Okay, so you can see how there's a open door, the open switch. So, okay, so the parts that highlighted blue are the parts like so this part is the part to actually opening the door. What we're gonna do is hold that, pull it up, and then now you see the two handles. You can slowly push the door away. And also this one, okay. This yellow part is a remove before flight tag. Basically, you know how that like this all sort of like you don't want this like as soon as you're on the ground, like you just don't want the emergency exit to be opened or get damaged or all sorts of things. So remove before flight tag. Like there's always sort of yellow. There's always sort of a little thing into protecting all of it to refrain like bugs or whatsoever getting in there messing up with whatever things are there. And then you put that tag there to stop anything damaging it, and before flight you need to take it out to make sure that it functions properly. Anyways, so also talking about the handle is highlighted in red here. And then I'll do it in black. You can see this part and this part. This part is like a part of the airlock I was talking about earlier, in case you have forgotten. So we'll talk about how this actually works into a bit more detail. Now this is not actually all about the fuselage. This is more of like a safety video about planes. Now let's okay. We're not going to talk about any more safety. Let's skip to the fuselage. To do that, we need to get out our trusty old friend, a whiteboard. How to exit this thing? Here. Just in case this thing glitches again, to keep it like this. So now that we talk about the emergency exits, I want to talk a little more into the cockpit, but unfortunately this is not the video for that because there's so much things. And now just oh yes, and okay, I'll do that at the end of the video. Don't forget to okay, so now let's talk about the slides. So let's see. This is an emergency slide for a plane. Now I do have a few suggestions for this. Like one of the suggestions is that we could have two different. So we could have like two different sections to a slide, or we could at least have gas cells. That's my suggestion. Because one thing I do know is that these get punctured very often. These get damaged like very often. So we had gas cells where it's like highlighted in red. This could do far better in preventing it from getting harmed or whatsoever. You could have it like this. Second suggestion, and a fold up flap, which will be in blue right here. So if it senses any water, this will go poof, to stop them from falling into the water if they want to slide down for any reason. Yeah, let's forget about my suggestions. Talk about how this works. So basically, as soon as a plane dishes into water, like or anything, should I say? So this is from a side view, human's view. Let's see that water would be red. So as this happens, and then the emergency exits, which are in yellow. Let's say here. Flight attendants go through this training very often. Here and here. And then the slides are in solid yellow. As soon as they, this is what, so red, let's pretend that in this case it will be land. Because if this was water, this would be far different. Let's say that this will be land. This is what it looks like sideways. This is what it looks like cross section view, like from the front. We're only going to do the right side because it's too hard to draw so much of it. Actually, you know what, I'm doing left and right. This is what it looks like on land, and most certainly there's going to be fire. We can say that a part highlighted in red could be on fire, let's say the very top, and it will be spreading very soon. In the event of a fire, there's no way to fight fire on a plane. So if you think of it, as soon as there's just one piece of fire, then the only way, okay, for engines and for the APU, I'll talk to you about the Airbus A320 fire extinguishment system and some of the other plane ones. so I'll tell you about that for the internet APU. So this is what it looks like. Okay. So if this is a bit of fire, it'll be covered with smoke. The only way to fight it is if it's at the engine or the APU. Unfortunately, this is not, so people have to make emergency landing. The captain have to make emergency landing, people have to evacuate. Now what if this is in water? There's no fire, but this is in water instead. Now let's just about let's just as well about to find out. There's two things that I need to move. This will be a little higher, and this now become this small. Now be acted as a raft. Now I do have a suggestion for this as well. Is that planes will actually carry their own lifeboats because just having a slide is too dangerous. Okay, so now we have this. Let's see what it'll look like on a side view. And then this will be our plane. Also, planes that they cannot float on water. Even though they're actually very buoyant, they can't float on water. I mean, so just think about a hollowed out rock. You know how this, so let's say that you hollowed a rock out and you super glued a piece of rock to that rock to make sure that water can get into the middle, right? But you still need to make sure that there's a few holes because there is a way that water can get into a place to make it no longer buoyant, like into the fuel tanks, which are very buoyant, but with water inside them, then or fuel inside them, they're not as buoyant. Or but the wings actually do create buoyancy because they, it's basically like you're trying to do this in water with like this having something very buoyant on it, like the raft thingy matrix. But this whole thing ends up going underwater. So no more talking. Let's get right into it. Oh my god. This is like so irritating. And then red will mean that. Okay. Actually, why did this one have this option? And then, so this is what it's like if the emergency exit here. If the water hasn't filled up yet. And again, if you have to sit on this place, you have to get far away from the plane as possible. If you sit right where that cursor is pointing, so if you can't see it, like you're gonna break it. So if we raise this a little higher to here, or let's say we move this instead to just about here, and then lift off like this. You don't have to be exactly flat. It's okay. Now I'll show you a wing perspective of both of these. So let's say that this is the wing fuselage, and then the slide will be in red in this shade. Okay, so this is what the slide would look like. Okay. So basically, on the wing, it goes out towards the back and then out there. Also, like you don't go up to the front, or so if you are evacuating from a wing exit, do not mess around on the wing. You're just gonna hurt yourself even more. And now let's just the red parts are the borders, just saying. Okay, so as soon as it slides down, So you're going to walk there and you're going to slide down the back. This is what it looks like on the emergency on land. On water it's going to be pretty different actually. Let's say we're the A380 and the A350 with a very big wingspan. Then I'm not going to do a fuselage on all borders this time. I'm going to walk down here. This part. Oh, I'm supposed to separate this part because this is the part where it actually slides down. This part, we're going to do it in pink. Where it actually slides down. Where I actually do this instead. This was so annoying. So pink is where you actually slide down, and that is where now we're going to sit. And there's always these little mysterious yellow things like on here. They have like now most of you may think that it's just the airline, I made a mistake. It's just not improving aerodynamics at all. Well, that's true. Actually, it does decrease the aerodynamic flow, because but it's all, and again, it's very thin, which increases the chance of metal cut, but also increases the amount of flying time because of the less drag and friction. Yeah. So what they do look like is like, I'm actually rushing this. Most of it is actually sort of rounded. Have it, and then there's going to be 2 holes in the middle. So basically, if you do an orange part, it will go through here and go through the other side, connect to something, or like, so this will be the way back. This will most likely be the way forward, and then to another one of those, and then connected to the raft, which will then detach from the plane. Now that we talked about how the emergency slides work, let's go into the seats. Finally, something that's not about emergency. So the seats in economy class are fairly simple. Just this, and they have just this, and then they have a simple black armrest, and here at the back there's a little screen which should be in grey, but this too, well, this is red, and a tray table should also be in grey. The folded up position. For neither can be extended at any time. But for takeoffs and landings, it's usually stowed away just in case, like, because in an emergency you'll react differently to how you act right now. You'll say, oh yeah, I already know watch that, I watched that 1,000 times. In an emergency, mommy, help! That's how you would react. And then like, yeah, also, having it out will increase the chance that if it hit any part of your body that's vulnerable to attack, but it's your stomach or parts of your chest, which, if you get that by a shock surprise, you could actually die. And also, it'll slow down the evacuation speed of other passengers, which also means that the plane that you love, or like a plane that, like, the company, like, they may have to redesign the seats or something a little bit to make it better or more as comfort thing, because there's a rule by the FAA that a plane has to be able to evacuate all of the passengers with only half the slides available in 90 seconds. That is a rule. Must have. Okay, so down drawing. Down at the bottom here, you have this, you have this, you have this, and then you also have your luggage here. The carry-on can be stored here or in the overhead storage space. So yeah, this is basically a seat in economy class. Not much functions, a general screen, a tray table. Let's get rid of that. Now it's time for a first class seat. The A380, it's a cabin where like there's a chair that is in blue that can be folded up to make a seat or a bed. And again, some economy class seats have this, where it's like that. There's usually like a folding up tray table, and that's also where the screen is kept. Basically for gaming and all sorts of things. Now let's do on some seats. I'll get a brief one, and now into the seat belt. The seat belt is like this. Here is the belt. Okay. Here is the belt motor scale, and the green part is where it connects. How the connecting thing works is what I'll explain to you soon. So basically imagine your hands in orientation like this. With hands like this. So you can see how it slides over it. It gets locked into place. That's why there's that rectangle in the middle. As soon as you release the top, which will force it to go up and backwards, partly how it works. You have to actually take this away yourself. So this will be ejected out of the spot where it could be put in again. And again, like it's gonna kill the passenger next to you. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this very brief little video about how things work, mostly about safety and about the fuselage. Tell me down in the comment section below what you want for your next video to be about. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe. Oh yes, and reach out to everyone who has donated to Team Trees or some other tree planting, like anywhere. Yeah, there's also this thing where it's like, it says, donate now, Trillion Trees, so it's basically trillion-trees.org.au or teamtrees.org. Hope you enjoy, hope you plant some trees, help the environment, and yeah, stay well, okay, ignore what I just said. I'll see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and big shout out to everyone who donated. You should go to trillion-trees.org in the comment section down below, or teamtrees.org. And now, Team Trees, year 2, just got 32,259,466 trees planted. Hooray for Team Trees. See you next time. Bye!